Welcome to my tutorial on how to quickly make and edit a video in iMovie. Yes, I have all the tabs open. Yes, I have all the things. I have ADHD and this type of organizational system, and it is one, works well for me. Going down to our iMovie, we can create a new movie, which I will do in just a second. If you have a setup that works for you, for example, in this one, I have my little beginning, sing with Miss Bzik. At the end, I have my little ender. So this is already set up how I structure most of my curriculum videos. It even has the type of lyrics that I use. So that's already set up for me. So I can just copy and move things, and I could also duplicate this. So I could come down here, duplicate it. It makes everything the same. Then I can pull out and drop in what I need, and I don't have to do quite as much work. It makes like a template type effect. We are going to go from scratch today. So we're going to create a new movie. We need to import media. There's a couple different ways we can do this. I could come over here. What I want to do is Power of Yet with Janelle Monáe. I could just drag that in there, which is awesome. There it is right there. The other thing I could do is when I go on the desktop, I want this screenshot right here. So I could put the media in this way. There she is. And drop her in. So you can drag or you can go find it by adding media right there. That is our importing media. We have most of what we need already. I know this is going to be my title slide, so I'm going to put her right there. As for how I got this title slide, I actually created this in PowerPoint. You could also do it in Google Docs. I make it the full screen and I screenshot it. You can either do a full screenshot with Command-Shift-3, where it just takes the whole picture like that. Or you could do Command-Shift-4, where I can just capture what I want right there. So there's a couple different ways I can do it. When I release it, it'll take that picture like that. I'm gonna put her in there. I'm gonna put her at about 3.7 seconds, because that's usually how much I need for my introduction. I'm gonna take video, drop it in here. Now with this, it starts right away. So I don't need to cut anything. I am scrolling through with the settings being very maxed out. Like if I go all the way here, I can see each little detail. Noise, noise, noise. See those three little noises right there? Or if I want to do some big movements, I can shrink that guy down and then I can very easily get to either side. For instance, I know I'm going to want this book-ended on the other side. So I'm just going to put it right there right now. In case I went too fast, this starts out, most images start out with a Ken Burns effect where it kind of like goes in and out. But I like to keep it simple so people can see what we're working with and what video they're looking at. Now toward the end, there is this Sesame Street business that I don't need. So there's a couple of things I could do. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll all the way out there so I can see every little detail. If I use my arrow, I can literally go frame by frame by frame by frame. And you can see that I'm not moving my mouse. I'm using my arrow to go frame by frame to figure out where it is that I want to clip this. There's two different ways I can shorten this. I usually wait until it goes all black. I could click on I have to click on the actual clip. If I click up here, and then I double click, it doesn't give me options. If I click on my clip or my picture or any type of media, even sound media, double click or right click if you're on a mouse, and it gives you all these options. You can split clip like that. And then what that does, I'm going to zoom out so you can kind of see, I could just boop, delete that, and it's gone. The other thing I could do, I'm putting it back together, as I can just drag the end of the clip as well. I'm going to make this bigger so that I can see right where I'm going, because I don't want any of that other to show up. I'm actually going to go a little further because you can see down here there's sound happening. I can take that sound off. I will show you how to do it. I split the clip. I double click on that one. I detach audio. And I can just delete the audio. So if I wanted the black screen, but I didn't want the audio, I can remove it. I'm going to undo all that because that's not something I need to worry about right now. As I'm all the way scrolled in to as many details as possible, I can also drag like that. Now I have some transitions I put in. The cross blur is usually the easiest. 1 second is a nice time. If you want your video to go a little faster, you can double click on that guy and put it like 0.3. Watch how fast this goes, or 0.5, whatever. It's like really fast. Like that. Normally this is at 1.0, and you can see it gives you a little bit longer transition time. Now I could stretch that out a little bit. I also want to put a transition at the beginning, so I'm going to scroll all the way back to the beginning. And I want that transition right there. I'm going to leave it at 1 second. This needs to be a little longer. So I'm looking for it to be 3.7. That's usually what I need for my introduction. Alright, now just so you can see the whole thing, here's what that looks like. When you're doing your own video, depending on what you need, if you need to do more cuts, all you have to do is right click and split clip, or you can drag and make it a different length. So either way, totally fine. As far as some sort of title, if you go to titles, you have lots and lots and lots of different options. If you want to use one, you just drag it down. You double click in that field and it highlights all that, or you can click over here and you can sing Bzik. And then I usually do my little microphone emoji, boom, like that. If I wanted to, I could have it this, I could just go in and type it. You can also, instead of auto, you can change the size, you can make it different colors, like it's really up to you. So if I put this here, see how it kind of splits apart, I can change the color, maybe I'll make it like hot pink. So I can do any of that type of thing. If I change the color, I double click on it because then it just highlights all of it. I have to click the color first to bring this up. If this is already up and you don't click over there, it's not going to change color. So you can change it to any color you want, and then it'll pop up the way you want. Now here's my sneaky bit. If I want to use because my kids really like this song, but there's no lyrics to it, so I haven't used it this year. I can go over here, and if you have a title you like, I'm going to do Command Copy, because I like to work smart and not hard. And then I Command V, so Command C for copy, Command V for paste, and there it goes, it's right there. And then it already has my beginning. Love it. I could do the same thing with the end that I want over here. Go back into the power of yet. Oh. Sometimes things get wonky. There we go. Drop it right there. This needs to be like 3.5. So everybody knows I love them. I love you. Now that kind of, this red gets lost, so I'll probably go back through and find a better color. Not a big deal. But until then, we're just going to carry on. One of the things that my students really want for this is lyrics. So he's saying la la la, oh. So what I might do, I'm just going to come over here and copy one of the texts that I like to use, the titles I like to use. You just drop it in here and do all the things. I double click. I'm actually going to delete my emojis because it changes the text, the type of text, changes the font. So I'm just going to kind of delete a little bit of it. Maybe he's going la, la, la. That's what Bert does at the beginning. So I'm going to put it right over there. Scooge him in. La, la, la. That's kind of what he does right there. And then I can copy these. I can paste them. I can change everything I want in there. So if for some reason you want words on yours, that's an easy way to do. If you don't have another one to copy from, titles, and there's a whole bunch of them that can act more like lyrics or closed captioning. So just kind of find the one you want. You're looking for ones that are along the bottom. Here's the one that I use. It's actually reveal lower third. It's just the same kind of text, but it's off to the side. You can change your justification. You can change your text. You can change whether it's bold or not. You can even add an outline to it depending on the text. So if I undo those and I drag him there just to kind of reset him, I might put him in the middle. I'll leave him on auto. I'm going to add an outline, and then the color I usually use for text is that cyan, like that hot color, because then you can see the outline kind of gives it a little pop. So I can take the outline off, which is fine. Sometimes it can get lost in the background of the video clip. So that's how you add words that way. If you want to do a voiceover, this little guy is your best friend. So what you're going to do first is check your levels, make sure that it's coming through your Mac. I don't have this one up very high. I would click on mute your project because otherwise it'll start playing while you're trying to talk. I just click off of that. If you don't want to do a voiceover, you just click done. It'll put you back. But you can put a voiceover wherever you want. You can see that it's picking up my talking. So I'm just going to kind of read that right there. So I'm going to click on it. And it's going to give me a countdown. You'll hear 3 beeps. You might not hear it on your end, but I'll hear 3 beeps. And then that lets me know it's time for me to talk. The rest of everything's muted. Title text here. I could push my space bar, which is what I did. I say the same thing. Title text here. I can also stop it right there. Then you can see like my talking gets in the way. I shrink that down like that because I don't want like my little button noise. I don't want my beginning noises, and then I can move that sound all around. But when I play it back, you might not be able to hear it because I'm using earphones, but it says mine right over the top of that one. If for some reason your voice is not quite loud enough, you go up here to the sound and you can make your voice louder. See that? See how it goes right there? You can make it quieter. Now notice, this is still ready for me, but I'm not using it. It'll just kind of sit there, but I find it slows down iMovie sometimes, so I hit done just so that I'm out of there. But you can do all kinds of stuff with your sound. Put it back at 100. You can lower the other volume of the clips. If you have that on there, it'll kind of keep your background music going, and then your voice will pop up kind of on top of that background music. You can also change from voice enhanced to flat. Like there's all these different things you can do. I end up going with flat, but my voice is nice and full. Most people like the voice enhanced setting. It is up to you. Right now, I don't have any background music for the beginning of this. So if I wanted to add some background music, I could import it this way. I could go find what I'm looking for, or I already have the folder up that I need it from right there. So I'm going to pull and drop it in there. As I scroll over this, I can hear the music that's happening. So I know it's what I want, but I have earphones, so you can't hear it. I'm going to drop it all the way down to the bottom. I can kind of drag that in and shorten it. I also can take this little tiny circle handle and I can drag it like that so it makes it come in gradually. That is very helpful when you're using this at the end of a video. Pretend like I'm using this over here at the end. Now, I don't need all that extra. So I'm going to pretend that at the end, this is my audio that I want. I'm just going to split it. Maybe I just need a little intro, a little outro, not a big deal, pull in there. And then I use that little tiny to kind of drag both ways like that. So it gradually brings the sound in, gradually takes the sound out. You saw me split that clip just like I do a video clip, so you can split and splice sounds as well. Sounds that you import end up looking kind of like that. Here's the 2 things that I talked through, like my voiceovers. But usually that's what sound looks like. This almost always imports very loud, so I have to drag him down until the tops of his mountains are a little bit lower. You can also grab, I am just grabbing with my mouse, and you can move him up and down there. But we don't want him all blown out like that. He's way too loud, but we also don't want him super quiet. We want him just kind of past the middle a little bit of yellow, trying to stay away from red. So that would be how you would drag in a background sound. Once you're done getting everything how you want, I always do a preview where I work through to make sure things are kind of what I want. And then I go, oh, maybe there's something I want to change or something I want to fix. And then I just go in and fix it. So to recap, if you want to split a clip, split it. If you want to cut some out, you can drag it, or you can do a second split if you want to. And you can just like delete that whole chunk. There's lots of things you can do with that. You can remove your audio if you want to. You can have kind of like a set beginning and ending if that's something you want to do. There's lots of different ways to make this into a template or to do things from scratch. I do a little bit of both when I'm working on mine. This can be your best friend because you can get really in-depth details. You can see where those voices happen right there in the audio. If you're trying to go back and forth, just make that smaller so you don't have to scroll as far. And hopefully that gets you started.